And I say volunteers because they've all volunteered their time to come out and help answer questions. This isn't a regulated meeting. It isn't a public meeting per se. It's a voluntary meeting where we want to come out, help provide some information, and answer some questions. And so I'm going to go through and tell you who the folks are, so that if there's at some point in the evening where you want to meet with them and talk about an individual question or concern, that you can feel comfortable doing that. And I'm going to start off this evening by introducing you Melissa Cahoon. She's our area manager for Kankakee and Will County. She's the person with direct oversight over your water and your wastewater system. She's going to be doing our presentation this evening. She's the one that works regularly with the village on matters related to Aqua. Over here on this side we have Kevin Culver. He's our Midwest Environmental Compliance Manager. He covers the states of Illinois and Indiana. He's in charge of all things regulatory from an environmental perspective. He knows about water quality, wastewater rules and regulations and standards, can answer any questions both on water quality today and the water quality you'll receive once we receive the new water source here in December. The next gentleman is Paul Hanley. He's our state controller. He'd be free to answer questions about finance and also rates, and I can answer questions about rates as well. Next to him is Mike Stone. Michael Stone is the manager of our production facility in Kankakee, the source of water for University Park starting in December. Mike is recently, him and his team were recognized for their Kankakee water source and winning the best tasting water in the state of Illinois by the American Water Works Association. So Mike and his team are happy to answer any questions about our new source of water, which is back on the back counter back there. That's actual Kankakee River softened and treated drinking water brought from Kankakee for you to drink tonight, along with the cookies, which are from University Park, not Kankakee. Sydney Munger is our next individual. She is our supervisor here in University Park in particular. So if there's a field activity, someone coming to your home, chances are Cindy's directing that person and managing them directly. Next to Cindy, the tall gentleman, is Keith Mulholland. He's our regional engineer for Indiana and Illinois both. So he's here tonight with us. And next to him is Michael Kapp. Michael Kapp is also an engineer in Illinois and specifically works on projects here in Will County. Colton James is right next to Michael Kapp. Colton is our director of operations for the state of Illinois. If there's a question about treatment, some of our water mains, things like that, Colton will be happy to answer those questions. And I think last but not least is Leslie Torres. And she's at the front door. Leslie's got a computer there with access to everyone's billing information, your account information. So if you have a question about your bill or your rates, you can stop by and you can ask Leslie, and she'll be sure to be happy to help you. So our format here is a little bit different than your traditional public meeting. We're going to do a presentation. At your table there are some various documents, one of them which is a note card that you can write questions down. We'll take questions verbally afterwards, that's fine, but if during the course of the presentation you want to jot down questions, we'll certainly go through those and we'll answer them. Tonight we also have someone helping us facilitate the meeting, and I want to introduce her, and she can kind of kick us off. Her name is Nancy Patarini, and she's from the Page Group, a consultant.
I'm not sure I like the title consultant. Again, I'm Nancy Patarini, and I'm mostly here to really, as Craig said, facilitate. But what that really means is every one of you have a real keen interest in what's happening here with the water and wastewater system. Melissa has a great, very short presentation that is really designed to answer a lot of questions you might have, information you're interested in. But then we really want to have two parts. We'll let her present some information, but then we want to have some conversation and questions and answers. And you're a big group, which is great. And so thank you again. It's really good for you to come out. So what I'm going to do is keep an eye on the group, and if times maybe we'll go table by table, but if you would help me out so that everybody gets a fair chance, right, for asking questions. If you'll raise your hand, I'm going to try do my best to keep an eye. My colleague here, Karen, she's actually going to make sure she takes down notes on a lot of your questions so that we don't miss any. And then, as Craig said, we'll also, after the presentation, we'll collect your question cards, because some people like putting them in writing in addition. And those, later on, we're going to collect them. We're going to put them in a report and make them available so even people who aren't here tonight will get a chance to see what kind of questions and answers there were. So if you'll help me out with that, I think probably what would be best, if you'll all agree to that, let's let Melissa do a very short presentation, and then we'll get right into some conversation. Okay? All right.
Thank you. Thank you all for coming. This is a great turnout, so I'm glad to see everybody here and have some great information to present to you. And like we said, we'll take questions afterwards. So I'm going to go ahead and get started right away. So this is a handout you guys all have in front of you, and it's what we're going to talk about tonight. So we're obviously going to cover the new pipeline that's going to bring that Kankakee softened water to University Park by the end of this year. So you will have filtered and softened water by the end of 2017. We'll talk about the cost of the new pipeline, which will be reflected in your rates next year. So we'll also talk about the rate filing that we recently did. We also filed for a new method of calculating summer water usage that can lower your monthly wastewater cost. And then the programs and services that are available for customers who may be experiencing hardships. So with the University Park pipeline that we're working on right now, you may have seen it, the construction that's happening right now. We actually started working on that back in 2013. We did a feasibility study, and you can see the timeline. You actually have this graph in front of you also. We began design on the project in 2014, got approval from the ICC in 2014 also to construct the pipeline. And in order to get approval, we had to show that that was the most cost-effective way to soften water and deliver high-quality water to University Park. We began construction in late 2016, so last year we actually started construction on the pipeline. And by the end of, we're hoping by the end of October 2017, like I said, towards the end of the year, you're going to have softened water in University Park. So some of the capital investment that we've done, so from 2013 to 2018, we've invested $30 million of capital spending into University Park. So some of that has been related to the University Park pipeline project. With the pipeline, you will have the best tasting water in Illinois. We recently won state award. We did win best tasting water in Illinois. It'll also reduce, when you get the Kankakee water, it'll reduce your iron by 90%. So right now, it is a well system in University Park, so there's high iron in that water. It'll also reduce hardness by 70%. So again, you're going to have that softened and filtered water in University Park. Some of the wastewater treatment plant improvements that we've done are all to increase efficiency and improve safety, and we constantly need to make those improvements and investments to ensure that we're meeting IEPA regulations. We've also done lift station improvements. We have, I think Cindy can probably attest to this, I think we have 46 lift stations in University Park, so we constantly need to invest in those and make sure that they're running properly and efficiently, and reducing backups in the system. And then we've done several infiltration and inflow reduction projects, which those type of projects eliminate the overload on the system. They prevent stormwater from coming into the system and those backups from occurring. We've also done wastewater and water main replacement projects. So those, when we look at those, we're looking at sections where we need to possibly improve the reliability of the system. When we're doing water main replacements, we're looking at sections where there's older pipe possibly in place or undersized main. So we want to make sure we're increasing fire flows and providing that reliability and high quality water. We also do a lot of water meter and radio read device replacements and upgrades. And when we do those, we're increasing the efficiency of our system. So right now we can drive by people's homes and we pull in your read from your meter. It's a radio read. So we can pull that without getting out of the vehicle unless there's an issue. Right now we're doing upgrades to the radio read devices. We will be installing Itron Earths. It's a different radio read device. And what that's going to allow us to do is pull usage, daily usage. So if a customer calls in and says, hey, I have this huge bill, it's way more usage than I've ever used before in the past. If you have that new upgraded equipment on at your home, we can pull that daily usage and help you identify where the issue may be occurring and help you pinpoint it. Capital is also related to the Kankakee water treatment plant expansion. So we are doing an expansion at our Kankakee water treatment plant right now. We're going to increase the capacity by 12 million gallons at our water treatment plant in Kankakee. And again, we want to improve reliability, make sure we're always meeting those IEPA regulations, and it would allow for growth and development. And then the last thing on this slide is over $5.36 of investment for every dollar of revenue generated. So basically what that means, and the industry average is $3.35. Basically what that means is we're putting back into our system, we're making those capital investments rather than spending it on expense. So we're trying to increase the reliability, like I said, do those capital investments, whether it's water main replacements, sewer main replacements, lift station improvements. This slide is talking about our expense. So I just spent a lot of time talking about the capital. So this is the expense. So O&M expenses have been held to 0.7% average annual increase due to savings that we recognized in our electric supply, interest costs, and transportation costs. So those were the main drivers allowing us to keep our O&M expense down. The O&M expense, operation and maintenance expense per customer is $285. O&M to revenue of 30%. And again, basically what this means is 70% of that's going back into capital investment and not to that expense cost. And then we have a national contract purchasing power. We were able to lock in our supply rate through 2020 at 0.039 cents per kilowatt hour. And again, we just want to stress that more of the customer bill supports capital investment to ensure the system is reliable and can support those future generations. This is just a picture of the pipeline project that's going on right now. So this is a 24-inch main that's coming all the way to University Park from actually Grant Park, or Mantino actually. From Mantino, it's starting at Mantino, coming all the way to University Park. We actually do have a map of it in the back. It's back by Keith and the engineering guys back there. So you can see that entire route. And it's about 14, I think it's just over 14 miles of pipe that's going into the ground right now. This is a big slide, really important slide basically. So what this shows is University Park is a well system. So normally speaking, groundwater is going to be high in iron and high in hardness. So we have, there's 5 different wells that we're pulling from. So, and you guys have this in front of you too. So you've got well 1, 2, 3, 6, and 7. So it shows you the water quality of all of those wells, and that last column shows the water quality for Kankakee. And the columns that are highlighted, the first one is hardness. So that's going to have a huge impact. You're not going to have quite the scaling that you might have on your appliances right now with the softened water from Kankakee. So you can see University Park runs anywhere from 400 up to almost 700 in the hardness level. Hardness is not harmful, it's just not desirable. A lot of people don't like hardness in the water. Some people actually do prefer it. Kankakee runs about 175. So you will definitely notice a difference in the water quality with the hardness. And then the other big one is iron. It's actually the third one that I highlighted. So iron is the one where people call and kind of complain and say, hey, my whites are now yellow, what's going on? It's the iron in the water. Again, we're meeting all the regulations for the treatment of the water. Iron's not going to harm you. It's just not a desirable characteristic for a water system. So Kankakee is 0.06, and you can see our University Park wells run anywhere from a 0.4 maybe to a actually almost a 0.8. And again, that does meet all IEPA regulations. Kankakee is just going to be more desirable for people to have. Okay, now I'm going to jump into the rates. So with the rate filing that we just did for actually the entire state, so we're doing a consolidated rate filing. If you look at your bill, what we calculated was a customer's average usage. So across the state, your average customer is going to use about 4,500 gallons a month. So what that means for University Park is you will see an increase of about $38.95 per month. And that's if we get everything that we requested from the ICC, which we normally do not get. So that's about $1.30 per day. And this is for the water and the sewer. So this is the combined bill. So there is a combined bill for University Park. So that's approximately, it's still about approximately a penny per gallon to supply drinking water to University Park. And for sewer, it's about 2 cents per gallon. So there's also some potential cost offsets that you can do. So with University Park, a complaint I get is a lot of people have a water softener. So you can spend anywhere from $500 to probably well over $1,000 on a water softener for your home. You will not need a water softener. I live in Kankakee. I have Kankakee water. I've never used a water softener. My whites are white. I don't have the scale buildup on my appliances. It just depends upon what you would desire. But my recommendation would be to not use that water softener. Disconnect it, bypass it. By eliminating the water softener, you eliminate your salt costs per month. And again, it depends upon how much you're using and how much you're going to spend on salt and how soft you like your water. And then the other big one is, I'm told a lot of people buy a lot of bottled water, and bottled water is $1.20 per gallon, and that's if you're buying individual bottles. If you buy it in bulk, of course, that's going to be a little bit different, but again, costs can be recognized, or cost savings can be recognized by all three of those, and I think pretty significant savings. This slide you guys also have in front of you, so this is the rate filing details. So we based, the information that I just went over was based off of an average usage of 4,500. And so here in the monthly increase column, you can see that that person would feel an increase of about $38. If you use less, I have a lot of people in apartments who potentially use a lot less water. Those people might use 2,000 gallons of water, and they would feel a monthly increase of about, it's under $20, it's $18.64. So again, depending upon your usage, you're going to feel that increase a little bit differently. So this slide will help you determine what your impact might be. So here's some rate filing details. So I did mention that we filed for the whole state. We're consolidating the entire state. So if we did not do that and we strictly kept University Park as a standalone division, the increase for that combined bill for water and wastewater would increase by $58.82. So the pipeline that we're putting in, essentially a lot of other customers are actually funding that pipeline, or helping to fund the pipeline that we're putting in. It's not just all put on University Park residents. So that's nearly $20 per month more than we're requesting. Also on your bill right now is what's called a qualifying infrastructure plant surcharge. That's going to drop to zero, so that percentage will no longer be on your bill. And then the May 1st filing date, we filed on May 1st. Earlier I mentioned the 2013 to 2018 investment was $30 million. So that's the cost we're trying to recoup with the rate filing that we're doing right now. And it is about an 11-month approval process. So by the end of this year, you'll have the softened water from Kankakee, but those rates will not take effect until possibly the end of March or beginning of April of 2018. So you'll have the softened water at your home before you're actually paying for it. Other question I get is comparisons. What do other people pay? What's going on with other villages? So this just gives you an idea of what some of the other surrounding communities possibly pay. One of the questions I get a lot too is Park Forest. What does Park Forest pay? They have a well system which is actually softened. They invested a lot of money to soften their water in Park Forest. I couldn't find their sewer rates, and I do apologize for that. They didn't have them listed in their ordinance, but I did find the water, and the water was $15.64 per 1,000 gallons. So their rates are reflective of the investment that they've actually made in Park Forest, which is very similar to the rates that we have. And then here, rest of them, so Kankakee, the Kankakee Water Treatment Plant services, Bradley, Bourbonnais, Kankakee, Mantino is in there. So anything that has proposed will have Kankakee water.
Melissa, these are all systems that have comparable water bill that we get here, right?
Correct. Okay, and then on the sewer side, so I haven't talked a lot about sewer. So with the rate filing that we did, we proposed a historical base consumption. So you have all this information in front of you. So right now, whatever your usage is for the month is what you're charged for sewer, unless you have an irrigation meter. So with the rate filing that we just did with the ICC, we're trying to change that and get, I'm going to use HBC for historical base consumption. So we're trying to get an HBC approved. So basically, we're going to use your winter usage to calculate what your sewer should be for the summertime. So we're going to take the months of December through March, and we're going to calculate that average usage. And then, this gets a little complicated to explain, so hopefully you can bear with me. So December through March, whatever your usage is, that's what we would bill you for in the summer. And then we're going to have a summer capped period where the customers will be billed winter average or the actual usage, whichever is less. So you're going to benefit. So for example, in the summertime, if your winter average for December through March was 5,000 gallons, but for whatever reason in the summer, maybe you left for vacation and your usage was 1,000, you would be billed the 1,000 instead of the 5,000. And then if you don't have usage for all 4 months of the winter measurement period, which is that December through March time period, you'll be billed a default winter usage of 4,500 or the actual usage for the month, whichever one of those is less. And then during the months of November through April, you're billed the actual usage for that particular month. This is just a spreadsheet. I do believe you guys have this also. So this kind of just gives you an idea of what would happen in different scenarios and the savings that could potentially be recognized. So for example, with this one, if you look at the middle one, the winter usage, the average usage was 6,200 for those winter measurement periods of December through March. Yet in the summer, their summer usage in July was only 5,800. So we did not use the winter average, we used the lesser of the two, which was the 5,800 instead of the 6,200. Some of the other factors that are affecting rates are increased regulatory requirements. So Aqua is required to maintain a cross-connection control enforcement program. Basically what that is, it's a backflow program, and that is a regulation. We can get in trouble from the IEPA and the ICC if we're not maintaining that program. So that's a cost that's incurred by Aqua to maintain that program. The other big driver is Illinois Commerce Commission implemented Part 280. So this was procedures for gas, electric, water, and sewer. And basically to implement this program, it costs us about $2 million. If you look at a company like ComEd, it actually costs them closer to $20 million to implement all the changes that were required. And on the next slide, I'm going to get into some of the benefits of Part 280 because there's actually a lot of customer-friendly benefits that resulted from those new regulations that they put into place. And then the other driver is conservation. So as we've done filings and we look at yearly usage from customers, we find that the average residential usage declines by 1.6 annually. So back in 2010, average customer was using over 5,000 gallons of water in their home. And you can see that decline. 2013, it was about 4,800. And then with our most recent filing, it is now down to 4,500. So that's going to drive rates, and there's a lot of reasons behind that also. So rates are going to be a factor. As rates go up, rates change, people conserve, people have more efficient devices, and people are more environmentally conscious of what they're doing. So Part 280. So some of the things that Part 280 allows for now is there's programs and services that are available to the customers who may have a hard time paying their bill. So we now have budget billing, which is available, so you can call up our call center, and if for any reason you're not able to make that payment, you can call, they can set you up on a payment arrangement. Normally, we would set it up for 3 or 4 months. We're now able to work with the customer and extend that for a longer period of time if that's necessary. That was payment arrangements. Budget billing, you can call, and it's similar to NICOR. So budget billing is actually, you can call and set up and have a set payment every month. And it's similar to, I believe, what NICOR does right now. So call the call center, it's our 877 number, which is right down here at the bottom, and they can help you spread those payments out. It would be an even payment every month. They're gonna look at your usage in the summer and in the winter to determine what that payment would be. We also have waived penalties for low-income customers. And then we're working, I know Craig's been working on this, working on establishing a customer assistance plan, which would be funded by customers. And then, again, if there's any questions on this, please call our 877 number and they can help you through any of these programs and assistance that's available. And then the last slide, I believe this is my last one. So some of our goals with Aqua is we always want to make sure we're providing quality product and service. So when we look at the projects that we're doing and the investment that we make, we want to make sure, again, we've got to improve reliability. So any areas in our system that need improvement, engineering, we have a list of projects that we want to do. Now, obviously, we cannot do them all at one time. The water and wastewater industry is one of the most capital-intensive industries that you're going to find out there. We want to make sure we're improving water quality. So with University Park, bringing that softened water, we worked for many, many years on trying to make that happen, and it finally is now going to become a reality. We want to make sure we're enhancing fire protection, working with our fire departments. So we work pretty closely with our fire departments. If they give us feedback and say, hey, here's some areas, we look at those and decide if we can replace the main in any certain area. And then fewer estimated bills. So one of the points I kind of want to stress too is when you look at your bill, you always want to look at it and make sure you are getting an actual bill. Sometimes it might estimate, so you want to look for an A or an E, which it shows you by your reading. Always make sure you're getting that actual read and that you're getting an actual bill. If you're not, please call our customer service and we can help you out with that. We want to make sure we provide quality jobs. We want to promote public education on the river watershed. So with the Kankakee water coming, we have a huge, Kevin Culver does a great display over here, and he'll talk to you about bugs and mussels all day, every day, if you let him. And he will definitely explain to you why the Kankakee River is one of the cleanest in the Midwest and why he can prove that to you. And he's drugged me out there, making me collect bugs myself. It's fun though. And then we want to support economic development and continually invest in the county. And with that, we can go to questions.
Very good. What I'd like to do first, actually, is anybody, Carrie's going to help me, we'd like to come around, anybody who wrote down some questions, we'd like to collect them, because we'll also read them out loud, and so our Aqua team can answer them. But just give us a minute to collect those. Yep, absolutely. Take time.
Right here.
We'll give them just a minute to collect those. That way, if somebody has a question or you're asking questions, everybody can hear the answer, right? I want to make sure everybody gets a chance to hear. Oh, what's up, Mike? You up?
So what we'll do is, Claire's going to sort these, and while she's doing that, we can start with just some questions from y'all. And let's see if I know, can somebody, I'd like to take this one because she was first before. And, Yeah, we're gonna give you a microphone so we can hear you. Okay. Thanks, everybody. That's great. There we go.
I just have a question. I want to make sure I'm understanding correctly. They indicated that there was $30 million invested, and that is what the rate increase is based on from 2013 to 2018, I think you said, for 5 years? Is that what?
It's 6 years, actually, 6 full
6
years.
years?
Yep.
So that 30 million is what you're now proposing for the rate increases?
Yeah, the 30 million actually supports the number that Melissa put up, that was like the $68 increase per month, right?
Okay.
But
And you're
because of,
asking $20 less or something?
correct. So yeah, that's the number that supports that.
Is that for Aqua, Illinois, that 30 million? Is that just for University Park? Where did that 30, is that for Aqua America, Aqua, Illinois, or University Park?
That's just University Park
University
in the
Park.
Will County Division, which covers other areas in Green Garden and that, right? But yes, when we talk about University Park, we're talking about Will County.
Right here. And then it indicated something about $285 as an average customer cost. And then it indicated 30%, so 70% went back into capital investment. Is that-
Just another factors, right? There are other things that go into that.
Okay, so
There's-
where is the profit? Who makes, Aqua, Illinois is part of Aqua America. What was the profit of Aqua, Illinois, or Aqua America, let's say last year?
Yeah, so the profit, let me explain how the profit's derived first for you. How's that? So when we go to the commission for a case like this, Aqua, Illinois, right, makes a return on our investment, okay? That return on investment is only on about 50% of the capital we put in the ground, right? So the number that you saw up there, the 30 million, if we're asking for all rent recovery just from our University Park residents, we would get a return. It's determined by the Illinois Commerce Commission, return on that investment about 50% of that value. The other 50% of the 30 million is recovered through debt, right? We have to borrow the money. It's a regulatory mechanism. The Commerce Commission regulates how much investment we can do, how much we can earn on a return, and how much of that return is funded through our shareholders, and how much is through debt, through bonds and banks and things like that. And they regulate that. And it's about 50-50. Okay? So when you look at our income based on Aqua, Illinois, it is based on about 50% of the capital investment invested over time, right? And that rate of return at the Commerce Commission, the weighted cost of capital is around 8% right now. It's around 8%, right? Now, so beyond that, though, beyond the capital, right? So I talked about there's the rate of return, which is our profit. There's depreciation on that half of the capital that we spent. There's the interest on the other half that we borrowed money for. Then there's the operations and maintenance expenses she alluded to. Then there's also taxes, because we're a business. We have to pay property taxes. We have to pay income taxes. We have to pay other funds and taxes to help, to help run our business, because we're a state of Illinois company, right? And so that's really basically a very high level how the whole income statement breaks down. And the taxes are a big piece of it. The O&M piece is a big piece of it.